Well, this test went really well. Just that I'm terrible. Okay. I fucked it. I was just starting to say bad words now. So bad at them. I want to mention that I'd like to get back to the broadcast yourself kind of YouTube, because I missed that YouTube. Alright, kind of missed that broadcast yourself tagline, and I figured what's the worst thing I could do is do a streaming, so I'm not doing that. What's even worse, being a YouTuber, that's like even worse. So there I am trying the worst thing I could think of. I already tried construction, and that's the best thing I can do. How about I try something I'm not good at, is a YouTube? I don't know, I can't tell. Well, think about Roger Rabbit. That's an interesting character, you know? Different. He's got big ears and big mouth. Rob Zemeckis was the genius behind that. Wasn't adapted from a book. I hope not. It looked kind of stupid. Here we are with the talking rabbits and going down that rabbit hole. Rabbit holes are great. Except if you're going through a conspiracy theory. They're the funnest. That's not what, if you start talking about conspiracy theory, you'll be down on your luck, friend. At parties, nobody will want to see you. As you can tell, I'm not that big of a fan of conspiracies. That's not that thing I should talk about. Like everybody talking about whoever they think is the craziest person they know, or the craziest idea they heard, and they just share it. I think that's all good and fair. You should share what is the worst theory they have on our globe. Our globe is a big cylinder. Is that what it is? I don't know anyways. I'm not a scientist. Just know it's pretty big. I wouldn't know numbers for them. I can't tell numbers from letters. Except there's 10 numbers, a couple letters here and there, millions of letters, maybe thousands. But if we take into account all the writings, every writing is probably invented languages. So what about like infinite letters? People can invent their own letters, just like they can church. That's infinite. Numbers are infinite too, but there's only like well, you know, it's not numbers, digits. I was wrong. There's only 10 digits, right? But there can be infinite digits, so they need step-by-step guides and speed hacks. What was I call them? Speed hacks. It's not a speed through. What is the name? Speedy. Can't remember. Fast video. Must be a name for it in the YouTube. Well, we will never know. Let's move on to the easy topic. Who cares about chickens? That's not what we're here to talk about. I was thinking that our world needed more people with hats. Let's be a straw hat, regular bob head. It's more of a figurine kind of term, but I slide this in. It's a rooster term. That'd be a fox in this jungled fox. That'd be kind of a funny looking fox. Camouflage would be his hair. His fur would be looking like a camouflage military or ex-military. Don't know. I'm trying to make some interesting comments. YouTube channel is the beginning of my downfall. I forgot my name, and I don't know where to get like the simplest blocks of cheese. Father likes that. Maybe in a grocery store. They're not open now. COVID. You guys didn't remember that? Go outside. Cheese. Cheese is important. You have to make sure that cheese is readily available. Without that, we die. And listen, I'm not a big cheese fan. Maybe some of you might say I don't have a taste for it. I like a menthol. That's the simplest. What did I say? Simplest or simplest? Can't remember. Everybody say I'm a simp now. Not true. That was the thing I was gonna say first. Is I am not a simp. I believe that women like me and want to get out with me, but I make it really hard for them to get into my wallet. So I say, when it's time to pay, I say, no, it's not your wallet, it's my wallet. But that's a poor excuse. I'm a bit late to the party. And when I'm talking about cheese, they're talking about getting a big reunion. Everybody eating outside with a grilled cheese, and I'm like, where did I get that cheese from? They say the grocery store. I go, oh man, of course that's the grocery store, man. I was wrong all this time. I thought it was in the mines. Where do you find cheese in the mines? Maybe you can leave a comment. One day I left a comment, and a guy said some mean things to me, and I was really sad about it, so I deleted everything. Because I was bad for the creator. I said, that's not good what you're doing. You're person in front of you. You're interviewing them, but you're not really interviewing them. You're doing your worst at being and that's where I lost it. And that's what is important to know about YouTube comments. That's why Netflix doesn't have them. It's because they don't want any problems. If you go to YouTube, it's the same. People comment. Nobody knows what they're commenting, so I don't comment. I guess I just keep my evil thoughts in my own stupid mind. May God save our souls. So I leave 0 comments. When I do, I get a like. I mean, when I do leave them, I get no likes. And then sometimes when I do, I get a like. And I like it. Well, you didn't see that coming, did you? I wondered for a while why people there like my comments like crazy. And it's because nobody cares. I heard that from a very, very, very famous source. That source is well, he's dead now, but he knows a lot about comments. I forgot what he even looked like. That's why regions of this earth, you're not allowed to do camping. It's not legal. Except when you're in a free world. But like some areas of this world aren't free because there's no forest. So you don't have forest. What are you gonna do? What do you think? But what about the other guy? What else could it be about? I'm thinking right now. Because I think people are good. And I have a few thoughts on that. Maybe saying yes to everything is not gonna lead you to to be the best actor in the world like Jim Carrey. The main theory I have about anything that relate to grocery stores and how they're being grown. They're being grown and raised with a purpose to tell us that food is easy to retrieve. And I know a bunch of people that wrote manifestos, and God, they're fun to read. And without food, there's no chest. Or without furniture, there's no food. Or is it the other way around? I can't bear my moronic thoughts. It's really stupid. Just fed. I don't know what they tell you about being breastfed, but was that Chinese? Maybe buildings know a thing or two, you know, like walls have ears. Oh, the surrounding blocks around us have ears. Like cinder blocks. Destroying? Living? These are all the questions you can ask. Just, how do I say that? I guess you shouldn't know who I am. But I'm just a stranger. You know me by my alias, which is unknown to me at this moment. I don't know my own last name. A username. I don't have a username. It sounds like a video gamey kind of thing. Maybe the main thing about playing is how repetitive it gets. And though people weave in story in it. The story, and I hate repetition. I do not like to see the last thing I saw again and again. There are some things that you like to see again and do again and make again. Maybe making is not the best part for me because maybe I'm too lazy. But you do like to do and hear and make, which is the same as doing, let's be honest. Again, new things. I mean, they are the same. Like old things that you're just doing over and over again because it's fun. So what are those things? Again, that's a question. Again, you have those questions you might ask yourself, and I have those questions because I ask myself. What's troubling is how repetitive it gets. If you don't know what repetition is, you might be losing it. Though all this repetition is just making its way to your brainstem, not healing you. Maybe a trouble I find is recognizing people's names. If I see them, heard them before. Their faces I might never forget, ever. Which is strange. Maybe the closest people to you, you can forget. One person you've never seen before, just once, who may remember better than a person that's changed and you've seen all your life. To me, that's how I feel. Not feel, but that's how I feel. That's how I feel. Yeah. A passage of, it's a heritage. People tell you their name, you remember their face, then you can't think of the fucker's name. Like, who's this guy? Remember I talked to him about cheese and dogs. Can't remember their name. Oh, I just thought of an idea. Maybe making yourself invisible. I think I'm a doorknob. Like that Alice stuck in Wonderland. And that's fun. Like being a doorknob, but I think that's an expression somewhere. I'm not a doorknob, so maybe that's my subconscious, which is doing all the work, to be honest. Is that interpreting it as me being a sludge, not a slick person. I don't know what that means, slick. I heard that on the internet. So many words that aren't true on the internet. This city will never be cold, ever. First had this thought when I was in college, and I decided to start a different kind of class. It didn't work out. Those people had to wear jackets. Nobody has. I mean, who has the money to bear a jacket? Let's be honest, not everybody. And I barely had food, so let alone a jacket. How are you gonna survive? This brings me to the dictionary. Who, if we can call it a person, the dictionary. Who is a big person? Very. And I mean big. Some people tell me they read the whole thing. I believe it. I would do. But I would like to. Maybe for a challenge. But are you gonna remember any of these words? Question is answered pretty easily. Yes, you would. Because everything you're like a sponge, right? You're supposed to be a sponge. That's what my scientist, a friend, told me. He told me you're ink, or ink cartridge, and you're a sponge. Or like, no, that wasn't it. He said like everything is ink, and you're a sponge. The more you go around seeing ink just become black to your core, like darkness. I said, but what if you're black? And he said, you're racist. I said, no. I said, yeah, you'd be just as black as the sponge that you. He said, never mind. Kind of gave up on that whole idea. But a sponge is a great start. You should be wood. That's a stupid idea. You shouldn't be wood. That's what people say when they don't know what to say. Well, wood is great, all, but it's not as good as a sponge to absorb. No, wood is great to pretend to absorb. It's like a structural. It's really important. Wood is great. Like cinder blocks don't absorb as much water as wood. Wood like expands and just like a sponge. Are you supposed to be dry or wet? Sponge is never gonna be fully dry. Where can we take this analogy? That's a great idea. Sponge. Tell all my friends. Being a sponge. But if you spend all your life being a sponge, then are you gonna be dry at some point because of circumstances? I should change that to something more like around the lines of the whole industry changes. No way you'll be able to get away with that shit anymore. I have to think of new Rules. And rules are fun. I don't know if you've read a Monopoly book. Situations. And sticky itself, don't like. Because then I have to scruff and scratch and scribble. Maybe not scribble, pencil thing, but I have to scratch and scratch to get rid of that sticky. In my world, sticky, something gross. I try not to do gross things. I'm a man, you know. Well, may. Of course, I get through gross. Anyways, that's all. That's all for today. Maybe. Or maybe not. I don't know what I'm talking about right now. Because maybe it's a yes. Oh yeah, that was what I was gonna say. It's a yes or maybe it's a no. And God bless you all. I'd rather be a yes. I'd rather be a yes. Love you and see ya.